over the bustling city, mice were mysteriously vanishing without a trace. The International Rescue Aid Society, a secret organization dedicated to helping those in need, quickly assigned two of their bravest agents, Bianca and Bernard, to investigate the troubling disappearances. The duo wasted no time and set out on their mission with determination, despite the icy wind and snow-covered streets that made their journey more challenging. The usual scurrying of their fellow mice was noticeably absent, and the eerie silence only heightened the urgency of their task. As they carefully navigated a frosty alleyway, their sharp ears caught the faint sound of squeaking and muffled movement. They froze in their tracks, their keen eyes narrowing as they spotted a familiar figure ahead. Trudging through the snow was none other than Snoops, the bumbling but wicked assistant of the infamous Madame Medusa. Snoop struggled to carry a large canvas bag slung over his shoulder, and it was wriggling and squealing as though something or someone inside was desperately trying to escape. "He's caught more mice," whispered Bianca, her voice laced with both fear and determination. Her delicate paws tightened into fists. Without hesitation, the pair began to follow Snoops, their tiny paw steps crunching softly in the snow as they kept a safe distance. Snoops lumbered along the icy streets, grumbling under his breath, completely unaware of the brave mice tailing him. The trail led them to the ominous doors of Madame Medusa's pawn shop boutique. Snoops heaved the heavy bag higher onto his shoulder and disappeared inside with a grunt. Bianca and Bernard didn't hesitate. They squeezed through a small crack in the door and crept into the shadowy interior of the boutique. Their eyes widened in horror at the sight before them. The back room was filled with cages, rows upon rows of them, all crammed with frightened, shivering mice. The air was thick with distress, their squeaks echoing against the dingy walls, and the acrid scent of despair hung heavily in the air. At the far end of the room, Madame Medusa stood with her hands on her hips, her sharp laugh slicing through the chaos. "Carry on, Snoops," she barked, her grin widening as she gestured at the cages. "I need thousands more mouse skins to make my cozy jacket. Thousands. Do you hear?" Her bony fingers gestured dramatically, and her piercing gaze scanned the terrified mice. "Soon, I'll have the warmest coat in the world." Bianca and Bernard exchanged horrified glances, their hearts pounding. "So that's why she's capturing the mice," Bernard whispered, his voice trembling with anger and disbelief. Bianca's jaw tightened with determination. "We must save them," she said firmly, her eyes narrowing. Without wasting a moment, the two began their rescue mission. Moving swiftly and silently, they worked together to unlock the cages, using all their cleverness to free the trapped mice one by one. As the frightened mice scurried out, Bianca and Bernard whispered urgent instructions. "Some of you hide. The rest, climb up to those high shelves where she keeps her flour and spices. Quickly now." The mice obeyed, their tiny bodies darting and climbing with newfound hope. Just as the last cage was opened, the door slammed open with a thunderous bang, and Madame Medusa stormed in. Her wild eyes darted around the room, and when she saw the empty cages, her fury erupted like a volcano. "The cages are empty," she screeched, her voice rising to a terrifying pitch. "Where are my mice?" Bianca, hiding behind a large sack of flour, peeked out and let out a loud squeak to catch Medusa's attention. The villainess spun around, her eyes narrowing dangerously as she spotted the little mouse. "You," she snarled, her face twisting with rage. "I'll get you, you pesky little rodent." Medusa lunged toward the sack, but Bianca was ready. "Push, everyone," she called out, and on her cue, the mice hiding behind the flour bag pushed with all their might. The heavy sack wobbled precariously for a moment before tipping over. Flow MP. The bag fell directly onto Madame Medusa's upturned face and split humph. A massive cloud of flour erupted, covering Medusa from head to toe in a thick, powdery haze. "Ugh, I can't see," she gurgled, flailing wildly as the flour clung to her hair, clothes, and even her glasses. She stumbled around blindly, bumping into shelves and knocking over jars, sending spices and sugar spilling onto the floor. Meanwhile, Snoops, hearing the commotion, stumbled into the room. "What's going on in here, ACK?" he cried as he slipped on the scattered spices and landed in a heap, accidentally knocking over another bag of flour, which promptly dumped its contents all over him. Taking advantage of the chaos, Bianca and Bernard quickly rallied the rescued mice. "This way, everyone. Stay together and move quickly," they urged, guiding their friends toward an escape route they had scouted earlier. The mice scampered through the boutique, their tiny feet slipping and sliding on the flour-dusted floor, but moving with purpose and determination. By the time Madame Medusa regained her senses, it was too late. Bianca, Bernard, and all the freed mice had disappeared into the safety of the city's maze-like underground tunnels. Furious and humiliated, Medusa let out a near-piercing scream, vowing revenge, but her threats fell on empty ears. Once the group was far enough away, the rescued mice gathered in a safe hiding spot. Their tiny faces beamed with gratitude as they looked at their brave saviors. 3 cheers for Bernard and Bianca. One of the mice cried, and the group erupted into cheers and squeaks of celebration. Double quotes, "Thank you for saving us." Another mouse squeaked, tears of relief shining in her eyes. Bernard and Bianca exchanged a smile, their hearts swelling with pride. "It was a team effort," Bernard said modestly. Bianca added, "And now you're all safe. That's what matters most." As the rescued mice celebrated their freedom, Bernard and Bianca quietly slipped away into the shadows, their hearts full. They knew there would always be another mission to tackle, another mystery to solve. For now, though, they were content to have made a difference, their courage and cleverness ensuring that Madame Medusa's cruel plans had been foiled for good. The snow fell gently outside, blanketing the city once more as the brave duo disappeared into the night, ready for whatever adventure lay ahead.